Go for it. Do I kick it off or do you kick it off or do I kick it off?
Are we on? Okay. I'm sorry, were you waiting on me?
Yeah.
Apologies.
I thought it was me though. I was like,
Okay, I'd like to call the meeting, the Human Relations Commission to order. It is 6:01 p.m. on June 22nd, 2023. Before we get started, I will let Kalina handle some preliminary matters for our hybrid format.
thank you, Chairperson Barnett. Good evening. My name is Kalina Coleman, and I'll be facilitating the Zoom meeting. This meeting is being broadcast and recorded on the City of Lawrence YouTube channel. The public chat function is disabled. All chats will go directly to me. When you are not participating in the meeting, please mute your microphone. When you are participating in the meeting, please keep your video on. When you are not participating in the meeting, please turn your video off. You will still be able to hear the meeting. You can turn your video back on when you are participating. Turning your video off when you are not participating allows the active meeting participants to be seen on the screen. If you have any trouble, please send me a chat. The city reserves the right to mute microphones and/or turn off people's video to minimize distractions. Please remember to state your name every time you speak for the benefit of those listening remotely. And now I'll return the meeting to Chairperson Barnett.
Thank you, Kalina. The first item on our agenda is to approve the minutes from February 23rd, 2023. I hope everyone has had an opportunity to review them. I'll just pause for a few seconds if you need a second to review them, and then I will ask for a motion to approve. Okay, can I get a motion to approve the Human Relations Commission minutes of February 23rd, 2023?
I motion to approve the minutes from February 23rd, 2023.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
Seconded.
Okay, I will take a roll call vote. Commissioner Gipp,
Aye. Aye. Excuse me.
Commissioner Haswood,
Aye.
Commissioner Lee,
Aye.
Commissioner Decog,
Aye.
and Commissioner Stevens.
Aye.
Motion is approved. Minutes are approved. Okay, so going on to our regular agenda items, I just wanted to have a bit of information for the Human Relations Commission about the legal matters concerning the Landlords of Lawrence lawsuit against the city. So there's a link there, just in case anyone hasn't read or heard about it. This has the commentary by the legal department. So I just wanted to include that in our agenda item so everyone is aware. Also, and somewhat related, we do have an update on the source of income ordinance. The change to Chapter 10 has gone into effect and is enforceable by city staff in the Human Relations Division of the city. While there is ongoing litigation, I do hope this small change provides a resource and basic human right to those previously discriminated against in the community. Any other comments on this before we move on? Comments or questions? Okay. I do have an agenda item here. We are losing one of our longtime commissioners, Commissioner Emerson. I just want to take a moment to thank Commissioner Emerson for her years of service to the Human Relations Commission. Commissioner Emerson's enthusiasm for the work of the commission, as well as her involvement in the Chapter 10, rewrite certainly should be noted. And Commissioner Emerson is not just involved in the Human Relations Commission. She is a community leader, and her absence is certainly going to be felt not only on this commission, but on our school board. We're just losing a tremendous advocate and community leader. So I just wanted to say thank you, Commissioner Emerson, for your service, and good luck with everything. I don't know if anyone else has anything to say. Just wanted to honor Commissioner Emerson.
This is Commissioner Stevens.
Thank you, Commissioner
Hey.
Barnett.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
sorry.
Commissioner Stevens. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for your service. I appreciate you, and we're going to miss you.
Likewise, very much so. I'm already missing you guys.
Commissioner Haswood here. Just want to say thank you, Commissioner Emerson. I remember when you first presented to this Human Relations Commission as a community member, and I was thoroughly impressed by your feedback on how we can do better. And then it seemed like the next week you were on the commission, and it was a delight surprise to see how you saw a gap and need in our community and raised your hand and said, I'd like to make that change. So it was very inspiring for me. I'm very sad that you have moved on, but I know you'll continue to do great things. So you will be missed.
Likewise, Commissioner Haswood, I just wanted to say that, service to our community is so important, and regardless of what community you are in, we need your help. People need your help. So when it comes to advancing civil rights and just being able to feel like you belong in the community, our commission matters. You guys matter, and I just want to say thank you for the time that we've had, and on to the work. Let's get this done.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Emerson. Okay, so then agenda item number 4 is an update on the advisory board's restructuring. I don't know if anyone is even aware that this is happening, so I just wanted to put it on our agenda. There has been a lovingly called the Commission on Committees of Commissions or something. So there is a board and commission restructuring committee, I believe is what it's called in actuality. That committee was tasked with restructuring and whittling down all of the dozens of advisory boards and committees that are within the city of Lawrence to about like a dozen, or I think the goal is to be like around 10, which is a lot coming from, I think there's dozens. I don't know how many. I don't want to misstate it on the record. But this has certainly been a significant amount of work. The committee is comprised of a lot of board chairs. I'm on the committee, and they are long meetings, and I know that the committee is trying very, very hard to figure out how to do this. So concerning what we do, here on the Human Relations Commission, it has been suggested that the Human Relations Commission merge with AHAB. And I just want to state what AHAB's purpose is. I'm going to read and summarize it because I really want to have like an honest discussion about what the rest of the commission thinks about it. AHAB's purpose is 1, to advise the governing body regarding issues affecting affordable housing and supportive services in the community. 2, oversee and facilitate the purpose of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. 3, make recommendations to the governing body regarding the expenditure of money from the Affordable Housing Trust Fund in order to fund projects as reviewed and approved by the board, et cetera. And to make recommendations to the governing body regarding the cultivation and maintenance of steady and various streams of income to fund the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. So if you look at it, really, there's the last 3 all have to do with the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. The recommendation is to split that off into something else And so the Human Relations Commission would not be making those decisions about the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. That would be a separate group. But rather, we, as the Human Relations Commission, merged with AHAB, we would absorb the advising the governing body regarding issues affecting affordable housing and supportive services in the community, and that would be the extent of it. The recommendations are on the city's website, and again, I don't want to take too much time this evening diving into where everything is going, but I would like to facilitate discussion on this tonight to hear everyone's opinion, and I'll start. I think as we've discussed, especially during the source of income discussion and debates and everything, the racist underpinnings of housing discrimination, it directly affects housing accessibility in every community, and especially in Lawrence, and we know that from the data. And this also affects other protected classes under the purview of our commission. We have effectively taken some of this over when we redid Chapter 10. And the way that we added source of income protection to a protected class and to the definition of discrimination, or there shall be no discrimination based on source of income. And so, therefore, we're the advisory board and commission that hears reports from the Human Relations Division that would hear complaints about housing discrimination in our community. And so for the nearly 7 years I've been on this commission, I think we have struggled with outreach of specific purposes. I think that this is absolutely ripe for action from the Human Relations Commission and for outreach for us in supportive services regarding housing. It wouldn't just be us. We would absorb, I think, members from AHAB, and so we wouldn't be just making this in a vacuum and learning a whole new role, although we would. I think we would have some support from other AHAB members. And I just think this is a natural fit. The majority of our funding comes from HUD. It's for education, training, outreach. I mean, it's so much in line with what AHAB, from that first line of AHAB's purpose, that I think it would be a huge mistake to not use those funds for some of what AHAB is tasked with doing. There's just a natural fit and overlap there, in my opinion. Also, enforcement of our new source of income, like I said, comes from the Human Relations Division. And then intrinsically, it's just a natural fit. Most of the complaints we have are for housing. And I do, though, welcome all of the dissent and thoughts and everything, so I'll open it up for discussion and questions. And I probably don't have any of the answers, but I'm sure that staff can help us with some of that.
Hi, Chair Barnett. This is Kay Emerson. One of the natural questions I have, because of the conversations on commissions that has been going around, is just what happens to the community members who, when it comes to the dissolving of their board, essentially. Well, is there an opportunity here and where we can be filling some vacancies that we have within our Human Relations Commission? Not just mine, but because we have other ones as well. So that is something I naturally think about here.
Yeah, I think that's a good question, and certainly if someone was talking about dissolving the Human Relations Commission, I think we would all have the same question. This is, as I understand it, a grand vision and reworking all of the rules, renaming the commission, reworking the purpose, the number of commissioners. I assume we would, some of those who are interested in the trust fund management would move to a different commission, and those interested in achieving that first purpose of advising the governing body and outreach would come over with us, fill some vacancies. We may expand the size of our board. I think there will also be natural attrition. Some of the reasons for consolidating is that a lot of these advisory boards and commissions have trouble filling all of the vacancies that they consistently have. So that's just what I think and would happen and that I've observed being discussed. But I think that's a valid concern and one that I would certainly be concerned about myself if the tables were turned.
Thank you. I think that really kind of helps solve maybe some community members' questions who may be listening in on this and thinking about that. So thank you.
This is Commissioner Gipp. So the Commission on Commissions is meeting and talking about it. Do they give a timeline? Are they hiring a consultant, or this is something that they're doing with in-house and will relate to the community, and maybe the community needs feedback, or is there any plan like that?
Yeah, I forgot about all of the introductions. Sorry, this is Commissioner Barnett. So last week there were 2 or 3 public education sessions. It's going, essentially the same route as the source of income. There has been opportunity, and I will say, there's been an opportunity to provide feedback online. Those meetings are broadcast like this meeting is, and there was an in-person meeting, and then there also was an online forum. And then I think that this Commission on Commissions made recommendations, and now I think it goes over to the city manager's office for consideration and revision and stuff like that. I think that there may be 1 or 2 more opportunities to provide comment, but there is consolidation of everyone's comments. Concerning the Human Relations Commission, the comments that I reviewed were the people should the Human Relations Commission be making housing trust fund decisions for the city? And again, that's not a part of what would come over here. And then would the Human Relations Commission, the other comments, well, there was one comment, most of it did have to do with the Housing Trust Fund, and is that something we would want to do, which is somewhat irrelevant, but would we be interested in affecting change with affordable housing, public education, and supportive services? And so, again, that is something that we should discuss. Is that something we would be interested in? My thought, again, is that we get the majority of our funding for housing. It is absolutely a part of what we do. And we have opportunity and resources to help with that. But yeah, I just would love to hear what else you guys have to say.
Oh, this is Commissioner Lay, and I was just hoping to see if there was like a memo, or I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to reading these sort of things. So anything that there's documentation or a memo about this that we can kind of take a little bit of a deeper dive into this.
So I'm sure there is. I'm sure it's on the city's website, and what I can do, either I can send it, or I'll actually probably have Kalina send it to the rest of the commission, so you can get a link to start looking at that and seeing all of the public comments and everything. And I think that you all may have received a survey from the like several months ago when this first started, on your opinion on consolidation and like what your role is and what do you see as the biggest challenges on our commission specifically. One of the common themes was, again, filling vacancies, and so consolidation seems kind of natural. But let me see if I can find that for you and get it sent out.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
This is Commissioner Haswood. So AHAB, just for everyone, it's the Affordable Housing Advisory Board. Woo. And so I guess like with the suggestion of merging our commission with their advisory board, would it dissolve one or the other? And how does that impact our work of being renamed like the Civil Rights Board. I feel like that was really powerful in itself. And having that with our city, like a Human Relations Commission or Civil Rights Commission, is the direction I'd like to see Lawrence go, but I was just curious on how does that work?
So that is such a great question, and I will have to say that I dissent a little bit from the group, not this group, but the BCBS group on that. I agree. We should be named the Civil Rights Commission or the Commission on Civil Rights or something like that, as we've discussed multiple times. The way that these things have been, these advisory boards and recommendations have been structured is in line with the city's strategic plan and those outcomes, which are strong and welcoming neighborhoods, safe and secure, all of those. And so it's something that we'd have to see what the city manager ultimately recommends, and see how we can address that.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree that combining boards if necessary, because it takes up staff time as well, and filling vacancies is also a uphill challenge. So, yeah, I'm curious to see what the next steps will be. Thank you.
This is Commissioner DeCog. I had a question. So is, when this decision is going to be made, is there any precedence set on how this board is going to be combined from other examples, maybe from other cities? Have other cities that you know of done this, where they combine the human relations and something like AHAB? Is there precedence for this? I know we already do some of the things that, as you mentioned, and it will be an expansion. I'm just curious about that. And I'm also curious about, so how many, members on this board would be diminished, and how would the others be combined? I mean, what is going to be the size of the board? Because, this one is already big, but I'm just curious about what the other, what it will look like properly if it was combined.
Thank you. This is Commissioner Barnett. I have no idea. I don't have any clue as to numbers and drilling down on those specifics. It was certainly outside the purview of what the little group that I was on was asked to do. So I suppose we'll just have to see what the city comes up with, given what they heard back from the public online, in person, and with the hybrid approach to communicating this. So I have no idea. I'm just exciting and interesting. Sorry, I don't have many answers. Any other comments or questions regarding agenda item number 4?
This is Commissioner Emerson. I just had one additional question there. So if there are commissioners on this commission or members on the AHAB team that has any suggestions and recommendations as it relates to their thoughts, who would they go to provide those comments to? Do we have a point person for them to reach out to?
Yes, this is Commissioner Barnett. Yes, there is a point person, and so how about I get all of that stuff to you guys, to this commission? Sound good?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, great. Awesome. Okay. Moving on to agenda item number 5. I see we have Michelle Watley here with us again this evening from Shirley's Kitchen Cabinet. If you all remember, Michelle brought us an opportunity for an ordinance here in Lawrence, which is similar to the ordinance in Kansas City, Missouri, that would add language of discrimination. And then I'm just going to read what the addition would be. And then I have a copy of the Kansas City ordinance, but I'm not sure that it was shared with everyone, so we can get that out to you as well. So the language would be to add to our definition of race within Chapter 10, quote, including but not limited to hair texture and protective hairstyles, end quote, to the definition of race, like I said. And then the ordinance would further define protective hairstyles, which shall include but not be limited to such hairstyles as braid, locks, and twists. Last time, I know I've heard from Commissioner Stevens, Commissioner Emerson, and Commissioner Haswood. I think Commissioner Emerson and Commissioner Haswood spoke in support of this change, and so last time, but we didn't take any action on it. Admittedly, I think the Chapter 10 subcommittee was supposed to meet about this, and I did not put together a meeting, and I'm very sorry. So we do have this language in front of us. So I'd like to discuss it this evening. I do want to everyone to keep in mind that this was referred to us by the City Commission for consideration and review. And then under our consideration and review, we are to take some kind of action to support the language change or support the general ordinance proposal to send to the legal department, who would then do more research, review, and put together an ordinance. I think that when we were doing the source of income, there was a lot of time tied up in the details of the language and trying to get everyone on the same page, so much so that we were spinning our wheels, and I don't want to delay the actual work of this anymore. And so I'd like to try and, in an effort to turn this over to the city for research, outreach, and communication, my hope is that we can take some action tonight so the legal department can prepare an ordinance and work with Michelle on the specific language, knowing that we don't have to come up with any specific language here to support to move it to the legal department. Do we support the Crown Act language that was proposed to us and then send it over to the legal department? So, Michelle, I wondered if you had any comments or anything to say, and then I did want to open it up. I wanted all the commissioners, my hope is that we can all take advantage of Michelle's time here with us and ask her questions. She is our expert, and you know, what questions do you all have before we take action on this item?
Chairwoman Barnett and Commissioners, thank you again for having me. I'm again happy to answer any questions that you might have. Since the last time that we all discussed this issue, the state of Texas has passed the Crown Act, and the state of Michigan has passed the Crown Act. And if we can get Texas and Michigan and Alaska and our neighbors to the north of us and Nebraska and all of these other states who, no shade, are not better than Kansas or Lawrence or any of our, our neighborhoods, I'm sure that we can get it done here. So thank you for taking this up as an issue in your consideration. Again, I'm happy to answer any questions about the Crown Act. Again, we helped and led the charge in Kansas City, Missouri to get this passed at the municipal level, making the city of Kansas City the second municipality in the nation to pass the Crown Act. And so we've learned a lot in working on this bill, both at the state level and with local municipalities. And I'm happy to answer any questions or provide any insight that would be helpful to you all.
Well, this is Commissioner Lay. I refuse to be upstaged by Texas. So if we would like to take action tonight, I would, barring no other further discussion, would make a motion to go ahead and send that language on over to legal.
This is Commissioner Emerson. Even though we did not have an opportunity to have a Chapter 10 subcommittee meeting, we had ample amount of time to review the language as well as provide feedback. I believe that we were able to communicate in different ways because we live in a very technological age, which that's great for us. So like Commissioner Lay, let's move forward.
I have a motion on the table. I just want to pause, see if there are any other questions or comments for Michelle before I ask for a second. Okay. Commissioner Lay moved to move this language on to the legal department. Do I have a second?
This is Commissioner Stevens, I second.
Okay.
Commissioner DeCog, second.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner DeCog. Okay. I'm going to take a roll call here. Commissioner Gipp.
Aye.
Commissioner Haswood.
Aye.
Commissioner Lay.
Aye.
Commissioner Stevens.
Aye.
Commissioner DeCog.
Aye.
Commissioner Emerson.
Aye.
The Crown Act language has been moved over to the legal department for consideration of drafting an ordinance. And thank you all very much. Very exciting. Okay.
Thank you all. Do you need anything else from me? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you enjoy your evening. Thank you very much.
You all too. Thank you for passing this forward and doing the good work of the community. I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 6, committee updates. Chapter 10, I would say that would be me. Exhausted from the source of income, I have to be honest, and everything else. We have not met at all, and so I will work on changing that, and we will have a meeting probably at the end of July or August. Program Development Committee, Subcommittee.
Yeah, this is Commissioner Haswood. We haven't met yet, but we did have an opportunity to do community outreach. There was 3 public meetings of Ordinance 9960, and I attended the 3rd one. I don't know if any other committee members attended any of them, of the other ones, but it was interesting. It was filled with opportunities to learn. Yeah. And I'd like to welcome it to my other commissioners, committee members, if they want to chime in.
This is Commissioner Gipp. I apologize. I got the wrong date. And I tried to go on and do a virtual thing, and I don't know what happened there. But my apologies for missing that opportunity to go and just basically listen in. So
This is Commissioner Lay. I think I am with Commissioner Haswood on the opportunity to learn and just really listen to the community a lot more. I also feel I know we're already in the middle of trying to do everything we can to grow our outreach, but very clearly those also showcase the need for also an educational aspect to really, really push that information along, where it's not just letting folks know about who we are as a commission, but also that educational aspect of these ordinances that are going through the city. I'm not suggesting that there was a misunderstanding in these meetings, but I think there's definitely a way for us to channel a lot more dialogue and conversation along the lines of what the intent of the ordinances were. And so, to the extent that we can look at more educational opportunities alongside that outreach of just letting folks know that, hey, we exist, would be something to continue to explore.
This is Commissioner Barnett. I agree, and I know we've definitely talked about doing like a video series that's educational about what we do. I still am in support of that. I think that the Affordable Housing Trust Fund just put out a video of Christina Gentry. She has an incredible story. She was on our Chapter 10 meetings as having someone with a lived experience, and her story of essentially survival is incredible, and there's video out there now that is being widely shared, and hearing from someone who has gone through it and the benefits there's nothing like that. We can all sit up here and talk about the data and what is best for our city, but having someone who can say, I know this is best for our city because I lived it and benefited from it, and my kids and my family benefited from it, that kind of stuff is impactful. So I agree. Maybe getting an educational video series, again, like re-upping that idea, which I think we've talked about in the past a few times, might be something to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Commissioner Emerson. One of the things, as you were speaking, Commissioner Lay and Commissioner Haswood, I was thinking about the United Way of Call Valley and just their support that they are doing around supporting individuals who are experiencing homelessness, as well as the Ballard Community Center and their outreach with their services there. So as you guys are thinking about this, I would definitely encourage to lean into the existing partnerships that are in our community to kind of help out with that outreach. We don't have to do it alone. So that's all.
This is Commissioner Lay again. We may have talked about this at a previous meeting, but I would just ask again, and maybe city staff can assist with this inquiry. Do we have some sort of budget we could do on like ads or promotion of it's? Let's say we develop these educational videos, and I'm happy to be a part of that development to minimize costs. But, you know, it still does. There is a cost associated with expanding that outreach. Is there a sort of budget we can tap into?
This is Commissioner Barnett. I'm so glad you asked because I have added the budget letter that we got from Tony from the legal department on what our budget is, what it is for, and maybe what we can do with it.
Okay.
So I have that under agenda item C.
To be clear, I'm not saying I'm an expert at the social media and ad blasts and all of that, but would love to make sure we can try to see if there's some way we can use those budgets, if those funds exist, to kind of help with this educational promotion opportunity.
Yes, absolutely agreed, Commissioner Barnett.
This is Commissioner Gipp, which led to my question when we talked about consolidation, like timeline. Like, would we be able to do a video and do that kind of outreach, but then we get consolidated, so would we have to rebrand it? That's why earlier, I said, is there a timeline? Like, are they trying to do this next year, in the next 6 months, or is it going to take longer for the commission on commission to get together and determine all these things? And, because I don't know what the production time, sometimes, productions for videos can be as short as 3 weeks, or longer, depending on what you want to do. So would that impact our outreach planning?
This is Commissioner Barnett. Yes, absolutely. The city was so preemptive on the consolidation of advisory boards. It was one of the reasons that they didn't want us to mess with the structure of our committee by adding a youth liaison, renaming, and all that stuff because of the rebranding and money that goes with it, which is understandable because they knew that this consolidation was coming down the pike. And so I think that we would wait. We can still talk about ideas and there's still work that can be done, but yeah, absolutely. I don't think the city, I can't speak for the city, but I imagine they're not going to expend funds on something that's going to be rebranded and redone in the near future. The timeline was that the boards and commissions restructuring committee would get their recommendations to the city manager by June. And so I think this is happening very quickly. I don't think that it would happen within like a year or two. I mean, I think it's going to happen soon. I, again, can't speak for the city, but I don't think it's too far off. And so, maybe by our next meeting, we might have a little more information.
This is Commissioner Gipp, and I did see the letter in the email about the budget. So would that change that once we consolidate? Would that go with AHAB and then this group, and then they'd rename it, and would that change those line items and the funding? No?
This is Commissioner Barnett. No, because it would still be awarded to the division of the city. Okay. Of course, I can let the city answer that question if that's a specific question, but the way I would understand it is the city is awarded the money, and it's for the work that we do. For those line items and that purpose isn't going to go away with the addition of additional folks. And again, we can talk about it later, but I mean, a lot of what that money is for affordable housing and education. Okay, what else? Any other discussion on that before I move to the other committee? I just want to say thank you so much. It has been quite a ride, and I'm glad that you all got to be a part of the community experience of Chapter 10 and Ordinance 9960. Okay, so the cross-cutting work committee.
This is Commissioner Stevens. So I haven't been able to touch base with Commissioner Sheldon Sherman, but I was able to attend the Juneteenth celebration this past weekend and kind of listen into the things that the community's missing and needing, and talk to some people about the things that they're experiencing. So I look forward to following up with Commissioner Sheldon Sherman and then getting an update on where we are and what we need. Also, in support of the video series, I think that would be a good idea. So, thank you.
Okay, moving on to commission items. Since Commissioner Stevens brought it up, I just wanted to congratulate Dr. Caleb Stevens, our very own commissioner, on his Community Service Award that he received. Congratulations at the Juneteenth celebration. We all value you so much on this committee, or this commission, and I'm just so glad to see your value honored at the Juneteenth celebration. So congratulations.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, let's talk about this budget letter that we received. So the city received HUD fair housing assistance funding in the amount of $24,560. These funds must be used towards complaint processing, training, and administrative needs. I think we've talked about this before, but currently portions of the grant are used to go to investigation, conciliation, and concluding cases that allege discrimination in housing, which happens over at the municipal prosecutor's office by Beth. The grant also pays a portion of the investigator's salary, fair housing training expenses, community outreach efforts, and overhead expenses. Additionally, the city has $15,000 budgeted for the Human Relations Division. These funds must be used toward education, training, subscriptions, operating expenses, and equipment needs. I don't know that we have a lot of the latter. But yeah, so I mean, we have a budget. I don't manage that budget. Dr. Muhammad, I believe you do, alongside Tony in the legal department, or Tony does. And so I think that we would just need to talk about what we want to do with those funds. It sounds like a video series or some kind of education is definitely needed in our community, and there's a large interest with the majority of our commissioners. So, yeah, you guys want to talk about that anymore? I don't know of any deadlines that we have to get to the city. We don't have to get a proposal of use of funds that I'm aware of to the city.
This is Commissioner Lay. Is there a process for us to go ahead and start requesting some of those funds be encumbered for us to look into those educational videos?
Yeah, so I think that we would just need to make a request for staff to set up a meeting or get some instruction, because I don't know. We've never asked for that. Kalina, would you say that that would be a good next step in utilization of your time?
This is Kalina Coleman speaking. Yes, I would suggest just lay out those questions that you have for me, and I can translate those. But overall, I mean, you have access to the budget, so it wouldn't be, I don't think you're going through like an approval process or anything like that, as long as it's covered under those things that were listed in the memo. So I can just, I can still act as a liaison for that if you prefer, and we'll get the ball rolling.
Commissioner Lay, well, let me kind of think about this a little bit, perhaps talk with the fellow commissioners on program development and kind of see what we can scrap together as an idea. And also, I wouldn't know what sort of costs would be associated with that, and I would like to, for the good of the body, bring those sort of costs projections to this body to kind of talk about before we do anything else.
This is Commissioner Emerson. Chair Barnett, one of the things I am curious about, is there any action that the commission needs to have in order for the committee to come back to provide this information to you guys in the next meeting?
This is Commissioner Barnett. I have no idea. Again, we've never had to. We've never had the opportunity or have gotten that far. Again, we've had a lot of ideas that have, with commissioner turnover, have just never come to fruition. So hopefully this is something that can really take off. Okay. That's exciting. Is there anything else? What other commission items do folks have? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to D, public comment. I don't believe that we have received any public comment. At least I have not received any public comment. Kalina?
Kalina Coleman speaking. No public comment at this time.
And I see no one present in the room here with us this evening. Anyone online?
Kalina Coleman speaking. No one online as well.
Okay. Okay then. If there are no other questions, comments, or discussion, again, farewell to Commissioner Emerson. We will miss you so much. Thank you so much for everything. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
This is Commissioner Lay.
Commissioner Emerson. I motion we adjourn.
It's Commissioner Lay.
Commissioner Stevens, a second.
I'll just run through everyone. Commissioner Gipp.
Aye.
Commissioner Haswood.
Aye.
Commissioner Lee.
Aye.
Commissioner Decog. Oh, she's frozen.
Aye.
Commissioner Stevens.
Aye.
Commissioner Emerson.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you all so much.
Be well all.
Bye, Kay.
Bye, guys.